All right, so here's another interesting thrift store find. Whenever I go to the thrift store, occasionally I will find a couple of really crappy or cheap microphones here and there in the electronics section, but I have never seen an actual Rode Videomic at the thrift store. So of course, when I saw it in its original box and for this price, I went ahead and bought it. Even though it's always a risk when you buy something from the thrift store. But for that price, I just went ahead and purchased it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how it works, if it works at all. And I'm going to compare it to the current version of the Videomic that you can still get now on Amazon or in any electronic store. Because this is not the current version of the Videomic. If you see pictures of the new Videomic, it looks a little bit different. So and I'll show you in this video, but the actual shock mount that comes with the microphone is a little bit different. The new one comes with a red Rycut lyre mount, and this one doesn't. As far as I can tell, everything else is exactly the same as far as the microphone itself. But anyways, in this video I'm going to show you this early version, perhaps even the original version of the Videomic from Rode, and I'll test it out as well to see how it sounds or if it works at all. And yeah, it comes with the original box, and apparently somebody bought it at RODE University back in the day. Apparently was held by somebody called Rick Veers. You can also download an original video course from this website. And here's the box with some of the specs. And based on my research, this original version of the Videomic, and here's the part number, came out around 2008. And let's go ahead and see what came in the box. So what I got from the thrift store was the actual microphone in pretty good shape. It seems to be in really good condition with the original foam screen. And I'll go into more details about the microphone later in the video. I also got the extender cable for your audio cable, so you can connect it to your camera and have the microphone a little bit further out, because this is a completely wired microphone. And it also came in with a couple of the extra rubber bands for the shock mount, which I will talk about a little bit more later in the video, which was nice. Also came in with a couple of papers for the quality assurance and warranty, 10-year warranty, which is already expired, and nothing else. And actually, when I was looking at the box earlier today, I also saw that it came with a toothpick right here. And first I thought, oh, that's kind of gross, I don't want to touch that. But there's actually something in the microphone that requires you to use something like a toothpick. So I kept it in there just to show you in the video. I'm gonna throw it away anyways. But I will show you later how you actually may need a toothpick to do some of the settings or arrange some of the settings on the actual microphone. So here it is, the original Rode Videomic with its original black shock mount attached to it. And let's go through some of the details about the microphone itself. First of all, this, as you can see, is a shotgun style microphone. So it is not small, it is actually quite big. So it is meant to be used with larger DSLRs or larger camcorders. It is also very directional. So it does have a super cardioid pattern. So you gotta make sure that the source of your audio is gonna have to be in the front of the microphone. It is also powered by a 9-volt battery, which did not come with my thrifted microphone. You're gonna have to, and I believe the original ones or the new ones don't come with a 9-volt battery either. You're gonna have to buy that separately. It does come with this very thick windscreen that after all these years still works pretty good in mine. So it's a good quality windscreen. The audio in this microphone is gonna be dual mono output. So the same audio or the same signal is going to be transmitted in both of the channels, in the right and left channel of your microphone. Like I said before, it's directional, and it does come in with a high pass filter right here on the back of the microphone. So there's an on and off button, and the top selection is for your high pass filter. So you can, and there's an LED light there to show you that it's on. And if you go and you select the top option, that's going to be using the high pass filter, that it is used to filter out lower frequencies. And according to the specs, it's an 80 hertz high pass filter. Let's turn that back off. And it is made in China, and there is the serial number in case you're curious. Like I said before, this is the original or the older version of the shock mount. And from what I was able to learn on my research on the RODE Videomic, was that the newer version of the Videomic comes in with a different shock mount, because apparently there were some problems with this original one. Apparently the rubber bands that hold together the microphone, they tend to snap or to stretch. So they changed the design in the newer version of the Videomic. However, this one is already from 2008, and I believe the original rubber bands are still holding pretty good. And at the bottom you get your cold shoe mount to mount it on top of your camera, and this threaded wheel to secure it into your camera as well. So one more thing about this, about the settings of this camera, you can actually find inside the battery compartment. And I didn't learn this until just recently. Let me take the battery out. And by the way, if you're wondering how I know that this one was manufactured in 2008, there is a marking right here inside the battery compartment. Let me bring a light in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there, but it does say August of 2008 manufacture date. And another thing about the settings or the configurations of this microphone, you can actually select the signal level using a very tiny switch way in there in the battery compartment. And it's going to be really hard to show you there, but essentially you're going to have to line up a couple of switches to select -10 dB in your signal level or -20 dB on your signal level. Or if you don't want to do anything to your signal, just keep it flat. You can just leave it as they are in this option right here in this setting. But that's the reason why you may need a toothpick to change the switch there, to move the switches, because they're so tiny and really hard to reach with just your fingers. You're not going to be able to do it with just your fingers. You're going to have to use something very small and thin to reach right in there. But it's still nice that they included that configuration with the Videomic. I just wish that it was a little bit easier to reach. And as far as I can tell, the new version of the Videomic, the one that you can buy right now, comes with the exact same features as this one, one of the early generations of the RODE Videomic. The only difference, again, is the shock mount. All right, so what we'll do now is I'm going to take this microphone and my camera outside, and I'll see how it performs and how it sounds in a noisy environment. And I'll bring it back inside, I'll test it indoors, and at the end I'll give you my final review of the RODE Videomic.
All right, so here's a good test for the microphone. As you can see, I'm outside here in the park, and there's actually a lot of background noise. There's some children playing nearby in a playground. This park is actually really close to a busy road, so you should be able to hear some of the noises from the cars. And I'm right now using just the internal microphone from my camcorder, which is a Sony AX43. So what I'll do is I'll plug in the RODE microphone and I'll talk directly into the microphone to see how it performs, even with all this outdoor noise. Alright, so we are now plugged into the RODE microphone and in the exact same environment as before. And I am not using the low pass filter yet. And this is how it sounds. And I really should have brought the extender for the cable because it's kind of getting in the way. But essentially this is how it sounds, and I'm pointing the microphone directly towards me right now. So this is how it performs. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, this is not using without using the low pass filter. How does that sound? How does that perform against the background noise? And now I'll go ahead and turn on the low pass filter to see how that works. And there it is with the low pass filter on. Again, same situation as before. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. How's that sound? Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3.
All right, so we are now back indoors, and I wanted to show you how the microphone also performs indoors. I don't have this plugged into the camera yet. Right now, I am using a lavalier mic from a company called Boya, which is the one that I normally use for my videos. It's this one right here, and I'll put a link in the description. I've actually been really happy with this lavalier mic, which I've used many times in the past. And the sound is usually very, very good, as you can see, or as you can hear on this video. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and unplug my lavalier mic. I'm gonna show you how the internal microphone works on my camera. This is a Sony AX43. And then after that, I'm gonna plug in my RODE microphone to see how it works indoors. All right, so this is how it sounds using the internal microphone of my Sony AX43. And based on my experience, the sound in the AX43 is actually pretty good, but the levels are really, really low. So usually I have to speak really close to the camera. So like I said before, I have not plugged in the RODE Videomic yet. But I will do that now so you can see or you can hear the difference. And right now I did bring the extender cable, so I will be plugging this into my camcorder to see how that sounds. So let's see how it works with the RODE Videomic attached to the camera. All right, so we are now connected to the RODE Videomic, and the low pass filter is set to off. And this is how it sounds indoors. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I have not set the low pass filter on yet because there's not that many background noises in here, but there may be some sounds bouncing on the walls and hitting the microphone. So I'll test it out now with the high pass filter turned on. All right, so this is how it sounds using the high pass filter with the RODE Videomic indoors. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. How does this sound? All right, so I already went ahead and listened to some of the clips that I recorded using the RODE Videomic, and I gotta say I'm very impressed with this microphone. I can't believe that I found something like this for such a cheap price. Excellent audio quality, especially for voice. The sound was really good and crisp. The noise reduction, especially outdoors, was pretty good as well. So I'm really, really happy with it. I just realized I had it on. This is one of the things that I realized about this microphone is that you have to remember to turn it off, otherwise the battery is gonna drain. But anyways, really, really good microphone. Another thing that I did notice was that it is also a very loud and very sensitive microphone, especially compared to the ones that I've used before. Anything that touches the microphone, like if you bump into the microphone itself or the shock mount or even the camera, you're gonna hear it in the sound because it's just so sensitive. So I can see why RODE went with a more shock absorbing shock mount in their future or in the newer versions of the Videomic. But anyways, this one seems to work just fine. The one that uses the rubber bands, I had no trouble with it. Unless you really bump into something, you're gonna hear that a little bit. Otherwise, it's an excellent choice, especially if you find it for a cheap price, either on eBay or the thrift store. If you find it from some use from somebody else, I would definitely pick it up. As far as I can tell, the electronics or the actual configuration or the settings of the microphone is exactly the same as the newer versions of the Videomic that they sell for about $150 or $175. So a really, really good option. And of course, if you buy the newer ones, they may come in with newer components inside, so the quality may be a little bit better. But this one is still a really good option, even after so many years. Really, really good microphone. I look forward to using this one in the future in my videos.